So good morning. I'll be speaking on comparison of outcome between orbital implant with scleral wrap after enucleation and four-petal evisceration. Now these two techniques are life-changing and it leads to altered appearance and loss of binocular vision, altered appearance in the form of inophthalmos, deepening of superior sulcus and lack of ocular motility. So substitution of orbital volume with an optimum size implant is required to have ideal postoperative outcome. Now in evisceration, optimum size implant cannot be given. So there has been various modifications like multiple radial incision, posterior sclerotomy, scleral quadrisection and cells. Also to overcome complications in enucleation, there has been various modifications. Now this study is a combined retrospective and prospective study of 30 eyes between February 2016 and 2019, and each group had 15 eyes each, where primary implant was done in 16 eyes. And the outcome measures were qualitatively done for presence and absence of pseudotosis, sulcus deformity, fornix deepening, ocular motility, and implant exposure. And those cases where there is severe crunch in surface area like chemical injury, post-radiotherapy, and psychiatrical disorders and mutilated eye were excluded. Now, the steps for enucleation and evisceration were similar to the conventional one, except that sclerotomy was done with scleral quadrisection and donor sclera was wrapped in orbital implant. So this is the procedure for four petal, and the last one is the orbital implant wrapped in sclera. Now, both the groups are age and gender matched. There are 56% female and 44% male. There is no difference in pseudotosis or inophthalmos or sulcus deformity between the two groups. And there is also no difference between implant size and fornix shortening between the two groups. However, there is significant difference in horizontal ocular motility between the two groups. Adduction was adequate in 12 four petal eyes and abduction was better in 11 four petal eyes. Yeah, the comparison between both enucleation and like evisceration is an age old debate, but they all compared between the conventional techniques. So what did this study add? This study has compared a modified technique of enucleation with a modified technique of evisceration, and in the right hand side is the chart showing in brief the outcome between the two groups. Now, though the outcome between the two groups were not significant, but we can see the percentage of complications were higher in the scleral wrap group, and also ocular mortality was better in the four petal group. The similar study by Nakra and Fen et al. Also found the complications rate to be less in evisceration group, but they compared it with the conventional enucleation and evisceration. Also, one patient in enucleation group had to undergo revision surgery because of repeated extrusion of prosthesis. However, there are various limitations because of its retrospective nature, subjective measurement, small sample size, and short duration of follow-up. To conclude, though our study did not show significant difference between the two groups, but there are trends to suggest that four petal has resulted in better postoperative outcome and better ocular mortality. Also, there is no requirement of donor sclera, less chance of implant exposure, and this can be used in cases of a grossly shrunken scleral shell. Thank you.
Thank you, Debrati. How did you all measure ocular motility?
Sir, this was done by Kestenbaum ocular motility test, like where we have checked with a transparent ruler in primary position and then in abduction and adduction, and then it was compared between the two groups. And sir, it was graded as adequate. We have seen range of movement between 0 to 3 millimeter in adduction group, and accordingly it was graded as adequate when it was more than 1.5 millimeter for adduction, and range of movement for abduction was around 1 to 4 millimeter, and accordingly it was graded as adequate if it was more than 2 millimeter for abduction, and then we have graded into two categories, adequate and inadequate.